Hey, sales warriors, Jason Forrest here, as well as Mary Marshall Forrest. And we have some really, really cool topics today. Again, may the 4th be with you. Of course, that's kind of a nerdy thing to say, but I'm a huge Star Wars junkie. And I also believe I'm the last sales Jedi. So we're going to teach you some really cool stuff today. So let's get right down to it. As you already know, you can have the best product or service with the best value, but it doesn't really matter if your prospects don't say yes to moving forward with you. You can ask the best discovery questions, which I know so many sales trainers out there just talk about it's all about in the discovery. That's true. You could definitely have great discovery questions. You could have even the most impeccable selling message. I know the challenger sales process is all about having this incredible, challenging selling message, but you won't get credit if you fall short on the final close. So again, you can ask the best discovery question. You can have the best sales process overall, the best selling message. But if you don't go for that close, it's like it's all for naught, right? So Mary Marshall Forrest and I want to solve this problem for you. We want to teach you what the top sales warriors say, do, and think about regarding how to close the sale. See, we believe that all human beings are moving away from pain and towards that life improvement. And a sales warrior's mission is to liberate them from any indecision. So just think about that for a second, right? All human beings, when you're talking to them right now, I don't care if it's a business purchase or it's a consumer purchase, there's something wrong with their current situation, their current service, their current product, their current home, whatever it is, or else they wouldn't be talking to you. So there's something wrong with it. And so we have to get them to admit what's wrong with it so we can crank up the pain. And the more they talk about it, the more it has power over their life, which is important. And then once we figure that out, we want to get them to share with us what is the life improvement they want to move towards. We want to get them to move away from that pain and move towards that life improvement. And once we figure that out, then of course it's our mission. Our mission is very simple, and that is to liberate them from any indecision. Remember, people don't put off life improvement. You know, they don't go, oh, Mary, you know what? I'm just going to wait until 2023 to improve my life. I mean, once people have enough pain in their life, and once they're real clear on what they're trying to do to solve that pain, and once they've got a clear kind of step-by-step process on how to make it happen, they'll do anything they can to make it happen. So what we believe is you can't serve your customers if they don't ever get to buy from you. And if you can't get them to buy from you, then that's a big thing. So you have to master the close in order to do that. So really quick background, both Mary and I are master practitioners in neuro-linguistic programming. There's a lot of people out there that say they're NLP practitioners, but if you take a class for $50 on Udemy over the weekend, that doesn't mean that you've got this stuff figured out. So we've spent thousands of hours from the original governing body of NLP to understand, how top producers, again, think, say, and do. What makes them different? So it's the science psychology of studying the very best. And right now, write this down. It's very simple, right? Just think about this. In any profession, I don't care if it's a sport or if you're a ballerina or you're a musician, or again, you are a great sales professional. The very best, they just think, say, and do different things than the average think, do, and say, right? The mindset, process, and language is very different from the very best to the average. And so what we do is we're just obsessed in every industry to study what do the best think, say, and do. And then what we're going to do today is we're going to share with you that as it relates to how to close a sale. All right, so Mary's going to start off with the thinking part. So she's going to share with you these 3 core beliefs that top sales warriors, again, are thinking about regarding closing the sale. So Mary, take it away.
Awesome. Thank you. Yes, we're going to talk about beliefs first, and anything that you do with us, we always speak about beliefs first, because that is where that's what determines what we say and do. You will not argue with yourself inside of your own brain. If your brain believes one thing, that's what's coming out and what you're saying and doing. So we want to make sure that our beliefs are always in alignment first. And the beliefs, I'm going to share 3 of them with you that top sales warriors have in order to close a sale. But know that these are 3 of the 15 that are of the 15 warrior selling beliefs that we teach in our 90-day program. And so the first one I want to share with you is a sales warrior can sell anything by breaking it down into small decisions. So a sales warrior can sell anything by breaking it down into small decisions. And this belief is one, most sales warriors that go through our program, they say this is the one that was the biggest game changer for them. This is the one that brought in the most amount of money for them. In fact, one company we worked with, Red Rock, they had several people that after the 90 days, like before the 90 days, they were earning about $3,000 a month in commission. And by the end of the 90 days, they were earning like $30,000 a month in commission, which is an insane number. I love insane numbers. So wanted to make sure to share that with you, get you excited about this. So Gen Pop salespeople believe that the close happens at the end of the sales process. Like, yeah, I'm going to do a presentation, I'm going to do all this stuff, and then I go in for the close. But sales warriors know that the sale starts the second you say hello. The second that you're in contact with them, that's what begins the relationship and begins the close. So to get to that big decision, which is, are they going to move forward with you? If you want them to get the big decision, the big yes of yes, I'd like to sign the contract with you. I'd like to start using your products, your services. There are some smaller decisions that are smaller. They're earlier in the process, but they are equally as important. And sales warriors know this. So one of those, the first decision that we know we have to come up with is the decision for your prospect to leave what they are currently doing. So when I think of every sale that I have lost in the past, it is, I can probably count on one hand. It is like minuscule amounts of times that somebody said, Mary, I'm not going to move forward with what you're selling. Instead, I'm going to use a competitor. Like that doesn't normally happen. And that's not just here. That's all the places that I've sold in the past. That's not what happens. What happens, and I want you thinking right now through the sales that you've lost. The majority of the sales that I have lost is because they say, at the end, they go, I just decided I'm going to stick with what I'm doing. I'm not going to make a change. And so top sales warriors know that we must get people to say and make that internal decision that I am definitely not sticking with what I've been doing in the past. I am not staying with this service. I'm not staying with this product. I am making a change. And so we have to first sell them on that. Now, I want to let you know, within that decision, of course, there's even more smaller decisions that they have to make. Now, if you just incorporated this, you're going to have so much more success. You're going to have so many stronger conversations, but there are more details there. If you want more, we're happy to share. We're happy to give you information and talk about our program where we do that. But right now, you can start using this immediately. So making sure that they know that they need to leave what they're currently doing. And so we must get them to say, yeah, I am definitely not sticking with that. When we do that, boom, we've checked off one of those smaller but equally important decisions. Really, really important. Now, another decision that they must have is that they need to decide to use whatever industry you're in. So they say, I'm definitely not going to stick with what I'm doing. But when we're honest about what our competition is and what the alternatives are to going with us, there's a lot of options there. There are a lot of decisions. So it's not just doing that. It's not just your product or your competitor selling a similar product or service. There's other options. So I always joke with my teams that are in home building. You know what else is a competition? A boat. Do you know what else is competition? A Disney vacation, especially the prices of Disney today. You know what else is competition? Remodeling, redoing the backyard. There's so many different things that are competition. And so we've got to get them to go, no. The thing that is going to achieve the solution best is purchasing blank, whatever it is that you sell. And then from there, we can go to what you're all already very, very good about. Because most salespeople that I go and meet with, they are fantastic on why buy me versus my direct competitor. But honing in, the sales warriors, the difference there is knowing there are other decisions, and that decision of wait, I've got to leave what I have. I've got to make a change into this is the direction to go in on why buying what I have. So super excited. Once you get that, that starts to change everything. And that belief system of going, wait a second, the second I meet with them, I have to start getting them to solidify decisions and to say yes, so that later on I get my big yes. I get that they're moving forward. So that's all in. A sales warrior can sell anything, and breaking it down into small decisions. So belief number 2 that top sales warriors have is the objective of selling is to make people feel wanted and to achieve resolution. The objective of selling is to make people feel wanted and achieve resolution. So I'm going to break this down into 2 parts. Let's talk about this belief. The first part is to make people feel wanted. So I believe that when you make people feel big, they'll buy big. I believe that most areas in the world, most situations that people come into contact with, they leave that situation feeling less than. They leave that situation feeling not enough. I can even think about times in the past, just as a buyer, I love shopping. I love buying. I can think about going into stores and walking around and picking up lots of things that I want to try on, lots of dresses hanging over my arm, and walking past salespeople that are having conversations together, that ignore me, that don't get me a dressing room, that don't come ask how they can serve me or what I'm looking for that day, what my mission is. And I know in that moment, even me, somebody that studies the psychology of sales, that understands that those salespeople are having a conversation, they don't even know that I'm there, this is not personal, still feel like, do they think that I don't belong here? Am I too old to be in this store? Am I too young to be in this store? Do I not look like I can afford it? Like, what's going on? I still have those thoughts. And so I know other people do. And because I know the psychologists, I know it has nothing to do with me intellectually, but in my heart, I still kind of go, what's going on? Now, I cannot let people feel like that when I am the salesperson. When they're coming with me, the biggest gift, the way that we can show people that they're wanted, that they belong, is to ask them and invite them to join our community, to use our products, to be part of our company family. That's the biggest gift that we can give somebody. And so for me and for other sales warriors, I know every one of us at some point feels a little hesitation or nervousness in certain situations to move forward and to ask for the close, to ask for the sale. Sometimes there's a little nervousness that comes up, but that nervousness in me is always trumped when I think I can't let this person get off the phone, leave the conversation, and wonder to themselves, did Mary not think that I could afford it? Did Mary not think that my team was ready? Did Mary not believe in me? Did Mary not see me as a warrior? And so she didn't ask me to buy. I can't live with that. Now, what I can live with is somebody telling me no. I'm a big girl. I've been in sales for a long time, just like you. We hear no. That's okay. I can't live with somebody not feeling like they don't belong or that they're not enough or that they're not cared for. I can't have that. And so I know in order to make people feel big, in order to make them feel wanted, I need to ask them to buy. Now, second part, remember, the objective of selling is to make people feel wanted and to achieve resolution. So here's the second part, achieve resolution. So what it doesn't say is to definitely close that they're moving forward with me. It says achieve resolution. And that's because we believe that when you are leaving somebody in a place of ambiguity, you are leaving them in a place of pain. You're leaving them with uncertainty, and that's unkind to do. So I know that sales warriors believe that we are going to achieve resolution, whether or not that's moving forward with me because my product or service is the best solution for you, or whether it's staying with what you have because that's the best solution for you, or it's going with someone else because that's the best solution for you. Whatever it is, I'm going to be your guide and we're going to achieve resolution. Now, I get bothered sometimes by yucky sales training, as I'm sure many of you have, or sales training where they tell you what to do, but not how to do it. So they say like big, powerful things like become the trusted advisor. And you're like, yeah, I'd love to do that. But anybody want to tell me how to do that? Like, sounds great. Like, I'm bought in. I want to be a trusted advisor. I don't want to be a vendor. I get it. But they don't tell you how to do it. And so one of the things, I'm going to give you one of the steps. There's lots of different ways to the how to become that trusted advisor. But one of them is to achieve resolution with people, to be the guide that's with them, that doesn't give up, that helps them find the right solution for them, whether or not it's you. Now, most of the time, if they're talking to you, it's going to be you. If you believe in your product and you've got something great, it's going to be you. But sometimes it's not. And allowing that to be an option and allowing those conversations and those candid, transparent conversations and saying, we're going to get to resolution no matter what. That's the best gift. And can you imagine, when you have somebody that can speak confidently about all the alternatives in the competition and say, yeah, in this one case, this might be better for you, but let's look at the big picture. So leaving that, achieving resolution, not allowing them to leave the conversation with you to go do all the homework and figure it out on their own. This is not their field of expertise. It's yours. And so the kindest thing that we can do is be that trusted advisor and have the transparent, candid conversation about every option that they have so that we can be a beautiful, perfect guide for them. Don't leave them without it. Now, here's the other side. Let's think about this from you. Who has like a huge CRM system full of hundreds of people that you've had some discussion with, but you haven't closed out? That does not feel good in your brain and your heart and your CRM, your email that gets listed of everybody that you've got to talk to. Hey, you have 347 people to follow up with right now. Okay, that sounds terrible. So this is also a gift for you. How good does it feel to close it out? One, we close the sale out and they move forward with us, boom, off the CRM system. Ooh, that feels good. But doesn't it kind of feel good too when you like click the dead button? Choose resolution, dead, not working with them, not our people. That's okay. It's also, it clears it out. It's like your little spring cleaning happening right there in your CRM system in your head. So it's also a gift for you. So again, the objective of selling is to make people feel wanted and to achieve resolution. Now, the third belief that I want to share with you is the why must be greater than the sacrifice the customer needs to make. So the why must be greater than the sacrifice the customer needs to make. Now, this is really, really important. I want you really focusing on this because in a moment, Jason is going to take you through what is our final 3 steps in the Warrior Selling 12-step process. So it's a 5-4-3 process. There's 12 steps. Resolving the sale, how to close a sale. That's the final 3 steps. But you can't have success in those final 3 steps if you don't deeply understand how your product or service is going to impact the life of your prospect. If you don't know their real why are they really looking and interested in what you have? What are they moving towards? Now, this is also step 2 in our 12 steps. So this is in there in the 12 steps as well, but you must know that. So remember that most human beings are just resistant to change. They don't want to change. And moving forward with you, even if you are selling the most incredible, glorious, perfect product, perfect service out there, it requires sacrifice. And so honoring that and understanding that it is not necessarily simple and easy to move forward with you. There are things that have to happen. They have to, they have to stop doing and put a closed down plan of what's moving forward, of what they're currently using. They've got to, if you're a business to business, they have to explain to the rest of the company and team that's used to a service or a product that we're making the change. They have to do all the cleanup. It's gonna add time and work to their plate. And a lot of times that's the internal hang up that our prospects have that stop them from moving forward with us. So that's why it's ultimately important that we understand the true benefits, the true why. What are they moving towards? And how is this going to improve their life? Everything that Jason said at the beginning. How's this going to improve their life? We need to know that so that we can keep reminding them of that, to give them the motivation and the urgency to keep saying yes, to keep moving forward with you down your sales funnel through the final yes, to going and sharing with the rest of their company or their family that they've made this decision, which usually sometimes that kills our sale. So we have to give them the language, the knowledge, remind them of that, to give them the motivation to keep going, because it is a sacrifice to change. It always is. So top sales warriors know that they must discover that unique why. So saying, okay, I know why my customers choose with me. Yes, but there's a why deeper that's unique to that prospect. And really understanding them and their problems and their needs and what they want out of life or for their company or for their family. That is going to give you all of the information that you need and all of the understanding and to motivate them to move forward and to keep moving forward. Really, really important. So let me say those 3 beliefs. These are the things that people think, the top sales warriors think. Number 1, a sales warrior can sell anything by breaking it down into small decisions. Number 2, the objective of selling is to make people feel wanted and to achieve resolution. And number 3, the why must be greater than the sacrifice the customer needs to make. So these are the belief systems that we must take in on closing a sale. There are 3 of the 15, but Jason here in just a moment is going to take you through what they must say and do. Now, if you want to follow along with Jason with a download so that you can see these steps of what you have to think and what you must do and say, you can go to fpgnow.com // I get this, okay, it's there. It's written, you can copy and paste how to close. So fpgnow.com / how to close. It's going to give you some time to get more information. If you scroll down just a little bit, you'll put in some information. You'll be able to get all of this so you can follow along with Jason, have the slides, and have all of the materials with you. All right, Jason.
Okay, awesome. So again, top sales warriors is all about what they think, say, and do. And so far, Mary's talked to you about these 3 core beliefs that are important, because we can't do anything inconsistent with what we believe is possible. It's actually called cognitive dissonance, when we intellectually want to move a different direction than we currently are feeling or believing, and there's a dissonance inside of us, and that's that stress and that's anxiety. And so it's very important that we get our mindset right around what closing is all about, so that so we have a nice special container to put the behaviors and the language in. If we don't get those beliefs right, all this other stuff doesn't really matter. So right now, I'm going to share with you the final 3 steps of our 12-step sales process. Again, this sales process right now is ranked number 2 in the world by global gurus, beating out Challenger, Spin Selling, Solution Selling, Integrity. Like if you can name it, Sandler, we have beat them in our sales process. And that's important to me, because we're on a mission right now to kind of beat out all of the sales posers out there. There's just way too many sales philosophers that are teaching people philosophies and techniques and strategies that are just not effective. And they might feel good, they might feel safe, but they're just not what the top 1% is doing. And so we want to, again, liberate people and really give people the right tools to be the most successful. Because look, it's a tough gig out there, right? I mean, sales is not a 9-to-5 job. And so you guys have all done this because you want to make more than what 9-to-5 money can of course bring you. And so you want to make sure that you're again, have the best tools out there, the best Jedi mind tricks out there, which is important. Also, I want everyone to know that that if you mention this webinar, so right now this program is our Warrior Selling 90-Day program. It's $5,000, which is really nothing considering how many people have spent $5,000 and have gone from making $60,000 a year to making $300,000 a year. So it completely changed. What a great return on that. But if you mention this webinar, then you receive 10% off the $5,000 program, which is a $500 savings. And so definitely get your savings by mentioning that you were on this webinar and you heard it and you want to sign up for the 90-day program. It's all via Zoom. It's all very interactive. You bring your top prospects to the table and we will help sell through you. So our trainers are trained on teaching you exactly what to say, do, and think in order to move that sale forward. So you're going to get an ROI off of each and every one of those dojo sessions that we have on a weekly basis. So it's 50 hours over 90 days. And it's like the P90X for sales training. It's the most intense thing you've ever been a part of. But intensity is what moves the needle, right? Intensity is what pays the bills, is what gives you the kind of the blow it money, that crazy money that we're all, of course, desiring. And then sometimes it's not about just the money from the standpoint of, I want to make more money. It's about how do I make the money so I can contribute to society, so I can support my family, so I can do things on a bigger meaning in life. And that's what obviously you guys have the capability to do when you're a top sales warrior. All right, so let's get going here. So here are the 3 steps. So I'm going to go through each one. I'm going to tell you the process. Be thinking right now about a prospect that you have. That's usually the best way to do this. And I'll show you kind of the science. And again, as far as what to do and what to say. Okay, so step 1 is you want to commit to a favorite. You want to deliver what's called a triple bind close. And so let me kind of explain the importance of this. So other sales trainers, those kind of sales philosophers, those posers, they'll probably tell you to do what's called a single bind close. So single bind close is, Mr. Customer, you said that you were looking for X. And so here is what X is, and here's what it costs. So what do you think? That's a single bind close. Well, the problem with a single bind close is that it requires the customer now to do a bunch of kind of like mental aerobics in their head to figure out, is that really the best option? Is that really what's right for them? So they're gonna have to go through all of the kind of past scenarios. They're gonna have to go through the competition and what the competition is offering. And so there's just a lot of kind of mental aerobics that have to go through. So we always want to make it easy for customers to say yes. And so instead, we want to present a triple bind. So a triple bind is 3 options, and think of it as like the greatest option, and then a better option, and then a good option. And so you want to present it in that way. So you want to present the best option first, and then a not as good of option, and then also a good option, but not as good as the first, not as good as the second one, right? So it's presenting 3 options. Again, kind of that best, great option and that good option in that order. And so what you would say is something like this. You'd say, so Mr. Customer, I have 3 great options that I want to present to you. They're all good options. They're all going to get you to your goal of blank. They're all going to move you away from that problem that you stated, which was blank, and they're all going to help you achieve blank. The only difference between the 3 options is really like how fast you want to go as it relates to getting to desired goal of blank. And that's exactly what you want to say. So they all want to sound great. All the options want to sound great. You don't want to ever make a person feel like they're kind of losing if they don't choose one of the options. But by doing it this way, you're going to be able to help them kind of navigate between, again, the pros and cons of each one. Okay. So what you would do, so again, like I said, so all 3 options are great. I'm going to go through each one, and you're going to say, hey, the first option is the blank option. And this option gives you everything that you wanted to have on your wish list. It gives you this, it gives you this, it gives you this, and for a total investment of blank. The second option includes everything that this option includes, but we remove blank, which allows us to lower the total investment cost by 20%. And then the final option is really going to get you started. It's going to get you headed in the right direction. And it includes everything that the second option includes, but we remove blank. So now your minimum investment price to get started today is blank. And so the reason why it's important to explain it like that is people need to have a basis of comparison. And so when you can give them, here's what you get in option 1, and here's the total investment. And then in comparison, you get everything in option 1, but we remove blank, which means the price goes down by blank. And then same thing with option 3. What that's training the prospect to understand is that if they pay more, they get more, which is really important because you're about to probably have to deal with some sort of price objection here in a second. But if you can help them understand that the more they pay, the more they get, and the less they pay, the less they get, then it's going to help you later on when you need to remind them of that. And that's really what handling objections is all about. It's about reminding them of things that they agreed upon in the past. So again, step one, present 3 options. Step 2, get them to go back. Yep. So in the second, on the step 1, commit a favorite, right? Present 3 options. Then number 2 is get them to choose a favorite. So again, what you would say here is, so Mr. Customer, of these 3 options, which one would you say is your favorite today? Which one would you say is the one that you're most excited about moving forward with? And they say option A. Great. So option A is your favorite. Awesome. So based upon that, does that mean that you're definitely going forward with option A and we can eliminate option C? So it's important that you're always moving them towards something and moving them away from something. So by eliminating something, that it's about that resolution, and it's about keeping them in that decision-making rhythm. Okay, so now let's move on to actual step 2. Okay, so step 2 is resolve the final decision. So this is where we're going to do an assumptive close. And so at this point, you would basically say, so great. So it sounds like the choice is between option A and option B. Does that mean that you're definitely moving forward with us and it's just between these 2 options? So you're doing that assumptive close, because right now we're in that pole position, we're moving down the funnel. And so we want to just assume that because they said that's their favorite, they've eliminated their least favorite. Right now we're assuming they're moving forward with us. It's just a matter of those 2 options. If they say yes, then we're going to move on to step 3, which we'll talk about in a second. If they say no, then we want to stall by getting them to choose between the 2 options that they have left. Now, why do we want to do that, Jason? Well, because we want to make sure we always have position of strength. Position of strength is why they're interested in us. And I'm about to have to handle an objection. And so I want to get them back into talking about us and talking about why they like us and why they're interested in us and why we're great. So if they say no, I'm going to say something like this. Awesome. Well, I definitely want to talk about what's holding you back and what your concerns are. But before we do, let's just make sure we've resolved, if you were to move forward with us today, which would be your first choice? What would be the one you would move forward with? And you're going to go back through option A and option B, and you're going to get them to choose that favorite. And then when you do that, then you're going to say, great, now tell me about that. What makes that one your favorite? And all that information now is getting you that position of strength, which now allows us to move on to step 3. So let's go to step 3. So step 3 is we're going to resolve the second final decision using this 5-step resolution process, right? So step 1 here, you gain your position of strength. So you're going to say, great. So tell me what you love specifically about us. You saw me naturally already starting to do that before we got to this slide. And so, besides us, who else are you considering? So we're going to find out who that is. And again, what do you like about us that XYZ competitor is not offering you? So it's very important. And be specific. The more chunk down you can be, the better, because you're about to have to get them to compare. If you're charging 20% more, well, you have to be able to show them of why you're charging 20% more. And so you need the details in that. Like the details are everything there. So you make sure you chunk down. So what specifically, Mr. Customer, do you like about what we're offering compared to what XYZ competitor is offering? Okay, so it's very important. Hey, tell me more about that. Tell me more about that. Sometimes you want to call back to the things they said in the past. So don't be afraid of doing this. You want to make sure you have all of your position of strength going to this final set here. So you could say something like, in addition to that, I remember that your business partner said they also like blank about us. Or when it comes to your current offering and what you're currently doing, your current service provider, you said what you don't like about them is blank, which is why you're interested in us. And you said you haven't found that from anyone else. Is that also still the case? So feel free to pepper the pot, right? Feel free to bring even more of that position of strength in, so you have all of your guns loaded when you move into that final stretch, right? So step 2 here, you can see here is determine what is holding them back. So you would say, great. So now tell me what's holding you back from choosing us, versus XYZ competitor. And so what they're going to say is they're probably going to say price, right? And so if they say, well, you're definitely more expensive than them. And what you want to do then is you want to make sure that after each objection, you want to make sure that you get everything on the table. So you would say, great, well, if we were able to resolve the price, what else is holding you back from buying from us today? And then maybe they say, well, it just seems like a lot of time. It's a time commitment, or it's the terms, you're doing a 3-year contract and they're doing a month to month or doing a year, whatever it is, right? And you would do the same thing. So you would say, great, suppose we're able to make you feel better about our terms. Is there anything else? And eventually they're going to say, no, that's it. And then you want to summarize it back to, again, that position of strength. So you would say, so Mr. Customer, make sure I hear you right. The two main reasons why you're hesitant on moving forward with us is number one, because of our price. And number two is because of our terms. So again, suppose we're able to resolve these two, then how would you feel about moving forward with us today? So again, you see, I'm confirming that and I'm making sure I have all that position of strength before I move forward. And you can see next, which says a little step 4 there, is you're going to handle each objection using the handling objection process. Now, this is another webinar, and it's one of the steps that we teach in the full 90-day program and the full boot camp. But it's real simple. I mean, handling objections is real simple. So you're going to acknowledge the objection and you're going to give it gratitude. So you're going to say, hey, thank you so much for sharing your concern about the price. And then you're going to explain and rethink why you're charging what you're charging. So you would say something like, Mr. Customer, remember earlier you said that you preferred us over XYZ because of the following reasons. And when I asked you, are they even an option because they're not offering you blank, blank, blank? You said, yeah, probably not. It's probably not worth going with them if they're not going to do blank. Well, let me ask you another question. If I was to remove those specific features that you like about us, therefore lowering our price by 20% to match their price, then would that work for you? And of course, what are they going to say? They're going to say, no, I want you to give me all that stuff. And I want you to charge me what they're charging. And then you're just going to respond back and say, I understand, but I just can't do that. And I know you can't do that on your side. I can't do that on my side. We're giving you more. Of course, we have to charge you more in order to do that. But we believe the value is there, and you think the value is there because you said you wouldn't go forward with X if they since they're not doing blank. And so based upon that, how do you feel about paying 20% more and getting blank, blank, blank that you said is absolutely crucial for you and most important to you? That's it, right? And then so once you resolve that, again, just kind of getting that momentum, that winning momentum, and saying, great, now that we've resolved that, let's move on to the next objection. And so the next concern. And so now the concern is the terms, and you're going to do the same exact process you did before on acknowledging it, understanding the real concern, explaining why your terms are the way they are. How does it benefit them? Again, the key to this is whenever you explain and rethink, make sure you're always calling back to something they said in the past. This should not be the first time that you're explaining the value of your terms. If you know that your terms is something that's an objection that people usually give, make sure that you've already got position of strength on that one way earlier on the process. This is not the opportunity for you to sell the value of something. Again, all you ever do when it comes to handling objections is you're reminding them of value they agreed upon from the past, and you're calling back to it. If you do not do that, then this process will be way harder on you. And I know that Mary talked about that a lot when it came to the decisions and when it came to resolution and when, of course, it came to the why must be greater than the sacrifice. So you're just calling back to that constantly, and you're reminding them of that. And so once you do all that, you just summarize everything you've accomplished so far. And you said, these are the things, Mr. Customer, that you said were holding you back today. We resolved each one. So the next thing for us to do is to write up the paperwork and make it yours, or to get started today, whatever your kind of final agenda is with that. And so again, it's that momentum process. They've already confirmed that if you resolve these things, they're moving forward with you. And so don't yield. So something I want everyone to be clear on is that based on our research, out of 100 people, out of 100 sellers, only 10 ask a person to buy once. So only 10 would go through even the first step of that process, which is like present some options to a person and ask them, hey, which one do you prefer, et cetera. But one out of 100, so 10 out of 100 will ask once, but only 1 out of 100 would go through this entire process, which is resolving the second final decision and really going against the competition and figuring out, if they don't go forward with us, who they're going forward with, why would they choose us, and then really going through this final decision process. So again, choose to be in that top 1%, that 1 out of 100 that sees the process all the way through. I can't stress this enough, that exactly what Mary said is closing someone is something you're doing for someone, not to them. That is so critical, because it's only to them if if you don't understand the pain they're running away from, and you don't understand the pleasure or the life improvement they're moving towards, if you don't understand that and you haven't got them to admit that, then yeah, you could be just bugging them by closing is doing something to them. But if you know all of those things and the why is greater than the sacrifice, then again, what you're doing here is you're liberating them from any indecision. You really are doing something that's very noble and very pure and very honest and very amazing. I love this testimonial from Samantha Crow. She says here, I'm blown away by the FPG bootcamp training class. I'm so excited, grateful to be a part of a company that invest in their people and partners with FPG. What an amazing gift. And I know, Mary, they've just had so much success with sending their people through the 90-day program. And of course, they're full-fledged contract or full-fledged clients of ours as well. So in conclusion, Mary, as it relates to those final 3 steps, what would your kind of closing thoughts be on the importance of following that process in those 3 steps?
Well, it's remembering that it's a gift. First of all, when you're giving somebody more than one option, what you're also saying to them, because I always like to know what's the question behind the question, what's the meaning behind what's being said. When you give somebody 3 options, you are telling them, I really listen to you, and I really care about you, and I really want you to be in control of where this goes. I believe that you're smart and intelligent and capable and can look at these and know which one is best for your life. And so when we do that, and then completely, my favorite kind of overarching theme, Jason, through everything that you said and all of those 3 steps and the steps within them, is the transparency. A lot of times we're thinking things like, I wonder who else they're talking to. I wonder what else they're considering. I wonder how much that is that they're considering. Who are they talking to there? And my thing is, if it's in your head and you can help, just say it out loud. And that's what these steps do, is they say, okay, let's talk about your other options. Let's talk about let's be very transparent in who you're talking to, what the cost is, what the benefits are, what's going to work for you, what's not going to work for you. And I love that. That's my favorite thing about the process.
Yeah, I love, you're 100% right on that. So to me, the best sales warriors on the planet, and really just probably the best humans, are the ones that are just very honest, right? I mean, they're just very honest. They're very transparent. They're very real. They lead everything on the field, metaphorically. I mean, you say they speak their highest truth. I mean, that's really what we want. We want that kind of relationship with our prospects and our customers and our loved ones and our kids. We just want to be honest. Just be honest with each other. Like, that is so important. And if what you're offering is not right for them, it's not right for them. And if it's better for them to go with someone else, it's better to go from someone else. But it's important that you're just very honest on the pros and cons of going with you and allowing them to make the best decision by leading them through this process. Now, we're almost finished here, but we have one really cool bonus thing that we want to share with you. And this is something that Mary Marshall Forrest taught the last Jedi JFO. Is she had this phenomenal question that she would use when she was selling. So she was our head of sales for a long time, and she would use this one question that I was like, what was that? I would overhear it. I'm like, what was that? It was like the craziest question. So would you share with everyone this, like, the ultimate Jedi mind question that everyone could start using today?
Yes. When all else fails, right? Here's the one question that I would always use, is I would say, yes, Mr. or Ms. Prospect, I'm curious. Is there something that you were hoping I was going to say today that I haven't said yet? Because it opens up to what's really important to them. And I think one of the toughest things in being a sales warrior, especially one, if you've been selling what you sell for a long time, you know too much. It's not about always knowing what to say. It's about knowing what not to say, right? Because if you were going to sit down and tell somebody about what you sell and the benefits and how amazing and the testimonials of people who've used it before and all of that, I mean, we could probably all sit here for days just giving information about it. So being a top salesperson is about editing. But in editing, sometimes we miss what's most important to them. And so that's why I love the question. That's why I believe that it works so much is it's because we have to edit. And so now this gives us the exact path of what they need to hear, what's important to them to add back in. So I'm curious, what's something you were hoping I was going to say today that I haven't said? If you want to add the last part, it's so I can say it. And it always gives me really, really solid, good answers that open up a new, beautiful conversation.
So what she's doing is actually an NLP technique when it comes to almost hypnotic selling. So that type of question is actually tying up the conscious mind, and which is kind of putting the gatekeeper of the conscious mind to sleep, and it's allowing the subconscious mind to kind of speak freely. And that's what we really want to do, right? We want that customer to speak freely and not have any kind of reservations or leashes that hold them back from talking to us. And so that brilliant question does exactly that. And first time I heard it, I was like, there's no way the customer is going to answer that question. And the customer just told her everything that she needed to say that she hadn't said already. And then she just said that. And then they said, all right, let's move forward. It was like really kind of ridiculous how well it worked. So again, use that one. That's a huge bonus. And it's a special gift for, of course, the Jedi Day of May 4th. And then our final thoughts for you is, again, next month, we have another Warrior Selling 90-day class started up. What happens during that class is that you will work with one of our trainers to build a custom script just for you. Now, that's a big deal, guys, because we haven't always been doing that. We just started that a couple years ago, but we've all been to training before where, you start learning a concept and you're like, I don't know how this applies to me. And maybe even right now, you're struggling with how it applies to you because it's the concepts, but it's not in your language. So what our trainers do is they spend time with you ahead of time building out your custom script. So they take our 12-step NLP process, the Bruce Lee of sales training, the Jedi of sales processes, and we take that and we put it in your words through your messaging, and we combine it together. And so it's like blending this beautiful synergy of art and science, and it really gives you this phenomenal gift. I mean, most organizations would pay $5,000 just to create a custom script for themselves or more. I know Challenger charges quite a bit to create these kind of selling messages, thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. So you would get that just in the very beginning. And then when you're going through the 90-day program, you get to refine it and you get to practice it and you get to use it in the real world and then come back and share what your objections were, what your obstacles were. And again, our trained, amazing performance coaches in those dojo sessions will work with you on unleashing you and again, fine tuning it to make sure that you are making money every single time on those calls. Our brand promise is very simple. And that is on our weekly dojo sessions with you. The 24 hours after the call needs to be your highest money making 24 hour of your week, because you've just spent a couple hours with us and we're teaching you exactly what to say to move the needle forward. That's what our brand promise is. And if we can't do that, then I'm going to stop my life's work and do something else. And I think that's important to do. We all have a purpose in life. We must fulfill that purpose. And that's what our purpose is here. So again, it's been great. So again, sign up for the next webinar, download the form, make sure you mention that that you're on this to get your 10% savings. And we will see you on our next webinar coming soon. So check with us on LinkedIn and make sure you're always following us so you can get all our advertisements on when our next live LinkedIn webinar is. All right, see you soon.